And we're starting with different breaking news tonight. Governor Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff has just been indicted on 23 counts for federal crimes, including fraud and tax crimes. Dana Williamson had her first court appearance this afternoon following her arrest. I want to go ahead and bring in ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen, who is live outside of the federal courthouse in downtown Sacramento tonight. Now, Jeannie, you saw Williamson not only in front of the judge, but also as she was leaving the courthouse. Talk about some of those moments for us.
Yes, Alex, Dana Williamson was still in custody when she appeared before a judge this afternoon, and it was clear she was emotional, even appearing to cry at a certain point. She pled not guilty and has since been released from custody. Now, a couple hours ago, we did catch up with her as she was leaving this courthouse behind me here. Here's what she had to say about the charges filed against her.
No, you guys can contact the attorney.
Matthew Rowan didn't have any additional comments for us tonight. Williamson was arraigned at 2 this afternoon and walked into the courtroom with an oversized gray sweater, glasses, hair in a bun, and handcuffs. Judge Carolyn Delaney read her charges, which include conspiracy to commit bank and wire fraud, obstructing justice, false tax returns, and making false statements. Williamson is accused of being involved in a scheme involving former Health Secretary Xavier Becerra's campaign money. The accusation also involves Becerra's former chief of staff, Sean McCluskie. The indictment says Williamson created false contracts, false tax returns that claimed more than $1 million in business deductions for what was actually personal expenses that include private jet travel, stays at luxury hotels, home decor, and designer handbags. Court documents say all of this happened between February 2022 and September 2024. Now tonight, Becerra's team confirms to ABC 10 that he is public official 1 in that now unsealed indictment in this case. He is currently running for governor and is California's former attorney general. In a statement, Becerra is calling this a gut punch, saying in part, "I have voluntarily cooperated with the U.S. Department of Justice in their investigation and will continue to do so. As California's former attorney general, I fully comprehend the importance of allowing this investigation and legal process to run its course through our justice system." A spokesperson for Governor Gavin Newsom's office tells ABC 10 that Williamson no longer serves the administration, and he expects all public servants to uphold the highest standards of integrity. The governor's office adds that this is a time where the president is openly calling his attorney general to investigate his political enemies, and that it's the American principle of being innocent until proven guilty. Now, Williamson has about 2 weeks to get an unsecured bond of $500,000, which we understand will be her home. Live in Sacramento, Jeannie Nguyen, ABC 10.
All right, Jeannie, thank you so much. And to get more perspective on this case, I want to go ahead and bring in Rich Eisen. He is the editor-in-chief at Capitol Weekly. You probably recognize him from seeing him in the morning with our Mr. Walt Gray. Rich, thank you so much for being here. So talk to me first about Dana Williamson. She served as the governor's, current governor's former chief of staff. For people who may not understand that role and how significant it really is, talk to me about what that position does and what kind of influence and access does a chief of staff really have typically within an administration?
Well, it can vary governor to governor. I mean, when Jerry Brown was governor, his de facto chief of staff was his wife, Ann Gust, and everybody knew that. But of course, the deputy chief of staff was this one, Dana Williamson. Dana was very powerful. She, was known as a very fierce warrior. Certainly, you did not want to get on Dana's bad side. She was definitely somebody that the governor trusted. And, she ran interference on most of his big stuff. I mean, chiefs of staff were incredibly powerful.
Yeah. And put this case a little bit in perspective for us. Are corruption allegations like this unusual in California politics, or is this just a larger pattern that we've seen before?
Well, like this, I would say are fairly unusual. The last one I can remember.
You said fairly unusual?
Well, because of the one I remember the closest to this, where this high level of corruption was probably 10 years ago with Leland Yee when he was in the Senate and, ended up going to jail for 5 years, corruption, gun running, all that kind of thing. We had something a little earlier this year where the incoming Assembly Minority Leader, Heath Flora, we found out he was not living in his district while still taking per diem for travel that he was not doing. I think that's relatively small change compared to what we're talking about in this case with Dana Williamson and the others, which is these are very serious crimes if they are proven in a court. that could send her in specific to jail.
Yeah, and two other quick questions before I let you go here. The money at the center of this investigation allegedly came from campaign donations. Yeah. What does that mean for the people who contributed, and also just, public trust of misuse of funds?
Well, I mean, as far as the donations go, I mean, this was money that was in Xavier Becerra's fund. It was kind of a dormant fund, which is why I think probably they were comfortable accessing that. To your second part of that question, I mean, all of this stuff hurts public confidence. I mean, this happens on the same day we had, news about the Epstein emails and the president. I mean, this just goes on and on and on. And we've seen a lot more corruption at the local level here in California in recent years, particularly in Southern California, LA City and county. But all of this just feeds into they're all bad, kick them all out mentality.
And I got about 20 seconds left. Quick question. Do you think that this case will impact Governor Newsom's administration at all?
They're certainly going to try. I mean, we certainly saw it earlier today already with some of the more conservative outlets. How would they not? Of course, they're going to try. Now, it really needs to be pointed out that all of this alleged activity, happened before she even came to work as the governor's chief of staff. So that's what he's going to lean on, is that he had nothing to do with this.
And separate himself from that.
Absolutely.
Rich, thank you so much. And look, if you do want to read the indictment in this case involving Dana Williamson, it is 34 pages long. We have linked it on our website at abc10.com. All you have to do is just look for this story.